In the late 1700s, cotton cultivating was a very minor field. Grown mainly in the coastal regions of the Carolinas and Georgia, the process of growing cotton and then separating the fluffy fiber from the hard bulbs was difficult, inefficient, and costly. The fields were not well worked because the slave trade was in a steady and severe decline, but in the 1800s, cotton became the single most important crop in the U.S. and its most valuable export. In 1860, southern planters supplied 75% of the world's cotton, shipping bales from ports all along southern coastline. The boom of the Industrial Revolution in the early 1800s birthed the machinery and inventions that could turn cotton into clothing 8 times faster than by hand. Purchases made by European countries of cotton rose from 720,000 bales in 1830 to 5 million in 1860. At the beginning of the Civil War, the sale of cotton accounted for $200 million a year. The major boom of cotton happened for a number of reasons. Patented in 1974, Eli Whitney's cotton gin revolutionized the industry of the crop. A Yankee from Connecticut, Whitney invented a simple machine that consisted of metal rollers mounted with sharp, spiky teeth, a mesh wire, and a series of brushes, all connected that worked along with a hand crank to separate out the fibers and chaff. Without the cotton gin, cotton's widespread use could not have reached the height it did. While the majority of cotton farmers had only small plots of land with 1 or 2 slaves, the great wealth and supply of the cotton industry came from the handful of families with massive plantations. Some families owned hundreds of slaves and thousands of acres. These slaves were expected to work 12 to 14-hour workdays, gathering 200 pounds of cotton a day. Slaves were monitored in the fields by fierce overseers who drove slaves to the breaking point. Without slaves, cotton gathering in such large quantities would not have been possible. At first, the value of cotton on the market was low. It was used mostly as a commodity for barter. Gradually, it grew to an industry that banks monitored and that individual people marketed and sold in line with credit. Demand for cotton became high, not only from Great Britain and the rest of Europe, but also from the northern states. These states funded the booming southern economy, making the production of so much cotton possible. This backfired in the Civil War when the South was able to gain more support from overseas allies because of the cotton they could offer, and on the flip side, cut off the North from supplies. In the end, the war was lost by the South. Though many social and political changes occurred, the one thing cotton retained was its economic importance. In 1870, sharecroppers, small farmers, and plantation owners in the American South had produced more cotton than they had in 1860, and in 1880 exported even more. For 134 years, from 1803 to 1937, America was the world's leading cotton exporter. Cotton exports proved necessary in helping to reduce crushing federal debt and stabilizing monetary affairs to fund new national developments. For example, the railroad could not have come into being so quickly without the help of cotton money. After the Civil War and during economic reconstruction, cotton struggled to return to southern states as a chief crop. The market became too competitive as cotton farms sprung up elsewhere and prices were high. Post-Civil War reforms, soil depletion, and the boll weevil, a nasty cotton-eating beetle, combined to push cotton westward. Large quantities of cotton were grown on irrigated land in Texas, New Mexico, Arizona, and California, as the dryness of these regions made it easier to control insect pests. In the end, the cotton industry moved away from the Old South, but it left behind a lasting legacy. Without firing a gun, without drawing a sword, should they make war on us, we could bring the whole world to our feet. What would happen if no cotton was furnished for 3 years? England would topple headlong and carry the whole civilized world with her save the South. No, you dare not make war on cotton. No power on the earth dares to make war upon it. Cotton is king.
Well, I got wheels, put it in drive. Let's go for a ride. Down the road of life to one lane. You find it's one of a kind. Don't know when it's coming round, but we're not backing down. Still want the touch, the feel, the fabric of our lives. The touch, the feel of cotton, the fabric.